Service announcement. If your team sucks, please do not watch this video. This video is meant for winners only. This is our NFL show and top 10 list right here on Hot Sport. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome, a one and all. Welcome to the winners, as I said in my opening statement, to the NFL show. My favorite episode of the week. You know how much I love doing these top 10 lists. We have added some extra stuff today because our off the list is a bit shortened due to the bye weeks, and also because the NFL picture after 5 weeks is starting to become a lot more clear and a lot more consistent. So now I have the ability to add some extra stuff into the show and make this more of an NFL show and add some extra breaking news for everyone to see. So that is what's going to be going on tonight. Before we get into all of that, make sure you are hitting the like button. Make sure you are subscribing to Hot Sport. We are on the road to our first goal, which is 500 subs. We are 54 subs away from that. So any like you do, if you're watching this video, first order of business, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing because we want to help this channel grow. This channel has got so much to go. There's such a bright future here at Hot Sport, and we want to invite you all to be a part of it. Now, shall we get into it? This is my first order of business in this show. We got some breaking news now. We got some breaking news that has dropped this morning in terms of if you are a New York Jets fan. And I know I said this list is for winners only, and the New York Jets aren't on the list. But the New York Jets have fired their head coach, Robert Saleh. Very shocking, actually, because I think Robert Saleh is a pretty good head coach, but I think they feel like with all the talent that they got brought in Aaron Rodgers. There was a lot of pressure on Coach Saleh, and I think they feel he's just underachieved, and they want to try someone else, maybe someone in the backroom staff, someone from outside. We do not know yet. There's so many moving parts to this, obviously, and we don't know all the information yet. But the New York Jets have fired Robert Saleh. He is out. He has come back from London unemployed. So the next bit of injury news that just came out from last night's game, Derek Carr has an injury. Let me look again just on the specifics of the injury for you. He's got an oblique injury, so he's expected to miss multiple weeks. The New York Jets, what's the name? Who's the quarterback that we can expect? Not the Jets, the Saints. Spencer Rattler is expected now to take the reins now for the Saints. Obviously, a draft pick from this year. Believe he played his football at Oklahoma. And he's expected now to come in or at Oklahoma or NC State. Spencer Rattler, didn't he? Maybe it was both. Let me look. Spencer Rattler. Sorry, he was at Oklahoma, and then he transferred to South Carolina. So the rookie quarterback, Spencer Rattler, could be in line now to start for the Saints, which is interesting to see because you know what? Derek Carr, has he even really been that great? And maybe they have a young franchise quarterback in the making in Spencer Rattler. I think they're going to have a chance to experiment with that over the next few weeks, and they're going to learn a lot about their young rookie quarterback. The last piece of business for breaking news is the Eagles have released linebacker Devin White. Now, this comes as no surprise to me. I think it came as a surprise to me at the start of the season, given that we thought this was going to be a reclamation project, that Devin White was going to come with a brand new attitude to Philly, and he's going to get it done for the Eagles. But news broke week 1 that Devin was not on the plane to Brazil. And you can see the performances of Zach Bond. Nakobe Dean apparently beat him out. Nakobe Dean's performances have been up and down, but you know what? I think as much as he gets scrutiny from the Philly media, I think Nakobe Dean has made some plays and he shows that there's something there. And of course, the Eagles also have Jeremiah Trotter Jr., a very, very promising prospect in the ranks. And I just think that Devin White was not happy when he was told that he was not going to be penciled in as a starter for this Eagles team. And look, he clearly wasn't up for the fight. He clearly wasn't up to fight for his position. He threw his toys at the pram. That was an exclusive that came from Dan Cilio, actually. He threw his toys out the pram, and now the truth has come to light. And with Sidney Brown coming off IR, with Aniyah Smith coming off IR, Devin White was the player to make way, and it made sense for the Eagles. You can't be carrying a player who the Eagles have no intentions of playing, so it's a waste of a roster spot. So Devin White, we're interested to see if he hits the market, if he's going to find some opportunities, or is that it for Devin White in terms of being an impact player in the NFL? We have yet to see. But enough about Devin White. Let's talk about the NFL and let's talk about Anton's picks, actually. We're going to talk about Anton's picks. Anton went 8-7 on his picks, so still a winning record this week. We still have a 60% winning percentage on the season. But look, the 7 was due to a lot of shocking results, which we'll cover throughout this video. A few of them we'll discuss now because they're involving teams that are not on the list or not off the list, on the off the list segment. So we'll discuss these results. Caleb Williams, as we mentioned in our reel yesterday. By the way, guys, make sure you're subscribed to our socials. Make sure you're following our socials on Instagram and on TikTok. You can see the information right down here. You can see our handles. Make sure you're checking us out on TikTok, on Instagram, because a lot of our content here, the shorts, the reels are all there. I can only do a short about 1 minute on YouTube. I could do 3-minute shorts on Instagram and YouTube, on Instagram and TikTok. Therefore, we have got them there, so I can't put them on YouTube. Just because the what's it called? The portrait. My words coming out of my mouth, but coming out of my head, excuse me. Just don't fit. But we talked about the NFL wrap up yesterday, and we talked about Caleb Williams. We thought this was his best performance so far in the National Football League. He was balling, actually. He hooked up with DJ Moore a couple of times on some beautiful passes. Look, the Bears destroyed the Panthers, and the Panthers are going to be destroyed by a lot of teams this year. It was good to see that Caleb Williams, who was in the college football last year, put on a show like that. Doesn't matter against any team in the NFL. When you're coming out of college, every team is better than the team that you played last year. So good to see that for Caleb. Jordan Love finally got his first win of the season for the Packers. They started off strong, had to hold on against the Rams, but they just missed out, by the way, on the list this week. They are sitting actually at number 11 after this week. So if they can get the job done next week, they are definitely in line, especially if they're 4-2, to be on next week's list. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens there. And Next on my agenda, the 49ers. Look, I had the 49ers this season as a top 3 teams, my favorite to come out of the NFC. And the reason why I'm going hard on them is because no one gave my Eagles excuses last week when we were missing all of our players and we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No one was giving Jalen Hurts excuses. I had to hear my quarterback Jalen Hurts get his name dragged through the mud last week by our own fans as well as the national media, as well as the local media. And I just gotta say, Brock Purdy has no excuses. You losing to the Arizona Cardinals at home. We have 3 losses on the season. I don't want to hear anything about this Brock Purdy fraud. Brock Purdy sucks. Public service announcement. Brock Purdy sucks. I know everyone's going to try to say that I don't know anything about ball, but I do. I've watched this guy play for 3 years. If he played for any other team, if he played for the Broncos, he played for the Jets, he played for the Panthers, and the list goes on, he would not have made it past 1 or 2 weeks in the NFL. He would have been replaced. He is privileged to play in San Fran with all the weapons, with Kyle Shanahan. And the minute you take away from that, they have now 3 losses on the season. And these 3 losses are to the Vikings, yes, who are undefeated. But if you go to my preseason rankings, the Vikings are like 22nd, 25th. Something like that. They lost to the Rams. They're not doing too good. The Rams didn't have Cooper or Puka. Lost. Now they lost to the Cardinals, a team I had down for 2 wins this season. Brock Purdy sucks. I can't go on the rest of the team because it's a talented roster, but I'm just saying it because Jalen Hurts got to go through that last week, and I'm putting Brock Purdy. If you're going by those metrics, Brock Purdy sucks. So tell me, oh, look at Brock Purdy, you're underrating him. Oh my God. I know he was in the Super Bowl last year. And don't even tell me about you can flip that on Jalen, because Jalen has got an incompetent head coach. He just does. Brock Purdy has got Kyle freaking Shanahan. Look, he's a smart guy. He's a good kid. You know, he's workable. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have that superhero part to him. Jalen Hurts at least can put the cape on, and he can, you know, he can put on that superhero cape, and he can lead a team. Brock Purdy has shown me now that he cannot. He does not have elite attributes. My God, Brock Purdy. I mean, the stuff I've had to go through last few years, even some of my closest friends, started losing some friends over my Brock Purdy tape. But man, the guy just stinks. And last but not least, before we get into our lists, congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are the final team in the NFL to get their first win on the season. But now, let's begin with my favorite segment of the segment, the Off the List list. Guys, can we get some music going, please? Thank you. The first team to removed off the list, and we only have, by the way, as you can see, 2 teams that were removed from the list this week. But the first team absolutely deserved to get knocked off the list. And I think they've kind of been, you know, pretenders and frauds sitting on my list for the last few weeks. And that is the Seattle Seahawks. How the hell can you expect to stay on my list after you've lost 2 in a row, and the last one being against a New York Giants team who I started ranked as dead last in the NFL, who had to travel across the country to your crib, and you were constantly having to try to get back into the game against the New York Giants? I'm not giving the Giants any credit, because the Giants suck, and the Seahawks this week sucked worse. Blocked field goal, return for TDs, Geno getting picked. Man, The Seattle Seahawks, 1000%. Good riddance. They are off the list. Next team off the list. And this team, not going to go as hard on them. Obviously, considering the last time I watched this team, we talked about this team. They obviously knocked the stuffing out of my Eagles. And this is our, outside of talking about Devin White, this is our really first episode where the Eagles don't get discussed because Osweiler they were on the bye. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did lose on Thursday Night Football in a shootout, mind you. Like, it wasn't a terrible performance for the Bucs. But due to algorithm purposes, they missed out. They are number 12 this week on my total full list. Which I'm wondering, guys, should I maybe leave it in the comment section? Do you guys think that I should publish my full 32 power rankings? Just for viewing. It won't make it on the video, but maybe you can just see, for viewing purposes, my full 32 power rankings. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers just missed out due to algorithm purposes, and that is the off-the-list list. All right, shall we get into the power rankings portion of the show? Just before we begin our list, of course, I will always list to you the qualifications, the prerequisites, if you will, for making it onto the list. The first prerequisite is record. This list, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is for winners only. You must have a winning record. So 3-2, 3-2 teams made it onto the list. 5 3-2 teams didn't make it onto the list. 3 teams have 1 loss on the season, and 2 teams are undefeated, and that is the first prerequisite. The second one is preseason ranking. So how I rank the teams before the season started, based off of roster strength, plus coaching and different kind of other elements that I created to make that initial list. The strength of opponents that you have played. So every win is weighted differently. If you have beaten a tough team, that's taken into account. If you've beaten not as good team, it's also taken into account, because we're trying to be as accurate as we possibly can in terms of who's deserving. And so that, as well as plus minus, so points scored against points against, as well as your total amount of points scored this season. So those things are all put together to create this beautiful list. Shall we get into our top 10 list? Cue the NFL music. And number 10, dropping 5 spots from last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who lost on a Monday morning, Sunday Night Football, early into the morning. The Pittsburgh Steelers, in a last gasp, lost to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they have now lost 2 games in a row. The reason why they have been spared of being off of the list is because the defense, and I got to really see it properly in a prime time stage, that defense is absolutely legit. The Dallas Cowboys, with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, struggled to move the football up and down the field on that defense. And on the other hand, the offense just looks so damn bad. I want to scratch my eyeballs out. They cannot wait. The wait for Russell Wilson cannot come any quicker. Because Justin Fields is, man, he's just struggling. He's up and down. There are times where he looks really good, and there are times where he just cannot get the drive going. They're going 3 and out, punt, 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 punt. And the offense is, of all the top 10 teams on this list, by far the worst offense on this list. And back-to-back losses again. This is a warning. If they were to lose 3 in a row, 500 teams would sometimes make it. But at this point of the season, I reckon that 500 teams would struggle to make it onto the top 10 list. So that's a warning for the Steelers. But this is their lowest position of the season at number 10. At number 9, the Atlanta Falcons, a first-timer on the list. The Atlanta Falcons in my preseason number 10. Kirk Cousins on a Thursday night lit up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 500 plus yards. Are you kidding me? Wow, they look so good. They've beaten 2 division rivals back-to-back weeks. And they fully deserve to be here back on the list for the first time this season. At number 9, I'm at number 8. My arch rivals, arch nemesis, the Dallas Cowboys. And look, as much as I like to make fun of them, as much as I want to make fun of them, I have to be a real true prognosticator of the prognostications. And the Dallas Cowboys impressed me somewhat. I was ready to come and laugh at them 1 second, but that last drive Dak Prescott put together in the middle of the night at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. He finds Jalen Tolbert in the end zone for a touchdown to put them ahead as the clock starts to wind down. Very impressive stuff by the Dallas Cowboys. They've beaten the number 1 defense, I believe, in the NFL. And they are on the list at number 8. At number 7, another back-to-back loser. They were number 3 on my list last week. Now they've dropped 4 spots. The Buffalo Bills. Oof. Well, look, I will excuse them for dropping back-to-back games because the teams they played were on the road against 2 teams that are ahead of them on this list. My Super Bowl favorites, the Baltimore Ravens last week, and this week they went on the road to Houston, another tough assignment, and they lost to the Houston Texans. Again, this is a warning to Josh Allen and co. If you lose 3 in a row, you won't be back here next week. I could tell you that much. And that would be, like the Saints before them, a massive fall from grace. From being number 1 offense in the NFL to falling off the list in 3 weeks. From being number 2 to falling off the list. Just an absolutely fall from grace. So the Buffalo Bills are still on the list at number 7, but they are holding on unless they can turn it around next week. At number 6, speaking of which, the Baltimore Ravens, my preseason favorite, have now won 3 in a row. 3 very impressive wins against 3 preseason top teners. The Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, and now they have beaten the Cincinnati Bengals. An incredible game, a comeback. Look, the Bengals absolutely blew it. They choked. They had a 10-point lead in the 4th quarter. They had the field goal. They got the ball first in overtime. They had a field goal and they missed. But Lamar Jackson, what an incredible, unlikely throw to Isaiah Likely for a touchdown where he broke the sack. He got out of the play. He got out of containment, extended the play, off balance, threw it up in the air and found Isaiah Likely in the end zone. What a brilliant piece of individual excellence by the MVP, the reigning MVP. And then Derrick Henry's run in overtime set up Justin Tucker to win the game away at their division rival, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. As I said last week, I don't expect them to come off the list at all ever again. They made their first appearance, and I think it's permanent. They move up the list now to number 6, but now it's time for my top 5 power rankings. Anton, Hot Sports Power Rankings. Let us go. At number 5, dropped 1 spot because they were on a bye, the Detroit Lions. Now their sample size through the first 4 weeks has left them 3-1, so their record is not as good as numbers 3 and 4 on this list. However, they are a top 5 team even without having to play. And the Detroit Lions are number 5 on the list. At number 4, a team that is so scary, the Washington Commanders. Man, I know this has become a YouTube cliche. People use it a lot on YouTube now, sports YouTube. This team is scary. Well, the Washington Commanders are scary. This is Jaden Daniels' rookie season, and he is looking like an elite quarterback. They jumped on my radar first on a Monday night. Yeah, we whooshed across, they beat the Giants. Meh. Then on a Monday night, they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. They really started to grab attention, and they shellacked the Arizona Cardinals last week. By the way, a feat that the 49ers could not do themselves. And then this week, they played a Cleveland Browns team that I had ranked 11 at the beginning of the year. Of course, an underwhelming Cleveland Browns team. And Jayden Daniels was just airing it out. What an impressive showing by Jayden Daniels. The joke was made. Can he be the first rookie to win MVP? I mean, it's looking like that. He has been amazing. And I actually am going to say something crazy. I think through the first 5 weeks in the NFL, he has been the most impressive quarterbacks in the NFL. Josh Allen was. Now they've lost back-to-back weeks. It is Jayden Daniels, ladies and gentlemen, the most impressive quarterback through 5 weeks in the NFL. And this is his first 5 games ever at a professional level. Incredible. The Eagles and the Cowboys have a lot of an uphill climb to do. And they got to hope that the Commanders, of course, they can take care of business as well. But the Commanders right now look like they're starting to run away with the NFC East. And the Eagles and the Cowboys have a lot of work to do, as I just mentioned. At number 3, swapping spots with last week's number 3, moving up 4 places, the Houston Texans beat the Buffalo Bills last gasp. Kymie Fairbairn, field goal to beat the Bills. And the Houston Texans, their highest positioning this year, they deserve it. CJ Stroud is the man. He's backing up his rookie performances of last year. And he's showing he's such a good quarterback. They have now won back-to-back games, and they are now number 3. Top 3 on the list, but they are not top 2, though. They are not top 2, though. At number 2, the team, again, I said this last week. I was sitting here last week. Why do I keep picking against the Vikings? They are now 5-0, and I am 0-5 in those selections. They proved that the performances that they were having on American soil were continued on English soil. And now Robert Saleh is unemployed. That is thanks to the Minnesota Vikings, who continue. They seek their revenge on an old foe, Aaron Rodgers. And now they are one of 2 undefeated teams. They are for real, ladies and gentlemen. When am I going to start to pick them? And my fear here, and the reason why I keep doing it, is like, A, the opponents that they play, I'm like, that's, place where they can get unstuck. And B, I just feel like the moment I pick them, they're going to lose. Like, they're going to lose eventually this season. I'm just going to be straight up with you. But I'm just like, I just got to get these picks right. And I'm like wanting to catch them on that first loss, rather than the minute I pick them, they're going to lose. So they are 5-0. They're going to take a break next week. And so are the team that is ranked number 1. And they've been ranked number 1 all year. The Super Bowl champion, the Kansas City Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes, let me tell you this. Without his running back, without Isaiah Pacheco, without his top 2 receivers, no Rashee Rice, no Hollywood Brown, Patrick Mahomes makes no excuses. And they just keep rolling on offense. Taylor Swift again up in the booth, cheering her beau, Travis Kelce, who got absolutely shellacked by the brother of Taylor Swift's backup dancer. By the way, credit to ESPN. Loving the coverage of that Monday night game. It was actually really, really, really good. Tro Buck and Troy Aikman are the best in the biz. Let me shout out to them. But the Kansas City Chiefs, again, remain number 1 on my list. Now to recap. At number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 2, the Minnesota Vikings. At number 3, the Houston Texans. At number 4, the Washington Commanders. At number 5, the Detroit Lions. At number 6, the Baltimore Ravens. At number 7, the Buffalo Bills. At number 8, the Dallas Cowboys. At number 9, the Atlanta Falcons. And at number 10 on your program, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that has been your top 10 list. Thank you, everybody, Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again. If you haven't already, hit the like button on the video. Subscribe. We are on the road, as I mentioned, to 500 subs. That is our first mini goal on this channel. And we thank you so much. Again, follow us on the socials. We'll be back with our Premier League show. That'll be our next video here on the YouTube channel. And yeah, thank you very much. And again, I'm so blessed for all the love I get from you guys. And I will see you guys on the next video. Anton out.